Hello, lovely friends. I'm Heather. Welcome back to Belle's Library. Today I have another great tag. I've been holding on to this one for this time of year. It's called the Witches and Books tag. I originally saw this on Expedition Through Pages channel, so I will have her video linked down below for you guys if you want to check out hers as well. So this is just kind of a quick, fun, short tag, and some of the prompts are just kind of more witchy related and also to do with books and that kind of stuff and getting invested in some of those worlds. So we're gonna jump in here, but before we do, go ahead and click subscribe if you haven't already. I also have my Goodreads and Instagram linked below, so you can check those out as well, so we can talk bookish on all platforms. So our first question is, what's your favorite cover that has a witch on it? And for this one, I actually adore the cover of The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. I think this cover is just stunning. It screams fall to me. It's got this cool witch that's just like standing in an unusual position, but like it just, I don't know, I just adore it. This book I haven't read yet. I'm really excited to read it at some point here, hopefully soon, but it's following these witches who basically like they are supposed to kind of control the weather for the world, and each witch kind of has a season that they're attached to a little bit more. So when that season starts is when they have the strongest power within them until their season's over. And then different witches kind of have that season. But there are occasionally witches that actually are able to be powerful and control weather in all seasons. And we have one said witch that basically the weather is just getting a little bit more out of control. Things aren't going well. So we have this witch who can control the weather in all seasons, and she's supposed to be kind of helping in some way. I don't know. It sounds intriguing, and I like the idea of kind of an elemental magic in a certain way, like they're tied to seasons, and that cover, man, that cover is just gorgeous. Our next prompt says that witches have been associated with devil worshipping or working with the devil in the past. So can you name a book featuring the underworld or demons in some way? And so for this one, the first book that really came to mind for me is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I'm not really sure that there's definitely, I guess, a little bit of devil worshipping in certain ways, but there's just this kind of paranormal aspect to this that I just feel like works into here. We are following Evie, and we are set in the 1920s, and she ends up having to move with her uncle in New York City because she got into some trouble in her hometown, and so she moves in with him, and he lives and runs in this museum that's like got a bunch of strange different things going on. And Evie also has some abilities, and she's called a diviner because she can touch objects and kind of see what happened to this object in the past. And she gets herself in a little bit of trouble with a Ouija board and kind of waking up some spirits. So I feel like there's definitely like that side plot that has kind of this mystery that they're trying to solve and figure out what's going on with these murders in New York. But she's also, I don't know, this novel or this series, it's like 4-book series, is very interesting because it kind of has this mystery aspect. It has this fantasy kind of paranormal aspect to it as well, but it's also a little bit historical fiction, and you're following Evie and her life in the 20s, and you know, she wants to go out and have fun and party with her friends. So it has so many really fun, great aspects to it, but it definitely has like that paranormal devil worshipping aspect in there as well. Number 3, it took me a little while to figure out how I wanted to answer this question. It says, if you were a witch, what spell do you wish that you could perform? So for me, I kind of like was bouncing around with different ideas, and I was like, I really don't know. I don't know. I just wish that I could, in general, do a lot of things. If I was a witch, that'd be cool. I was thinking like, what could I do that could maybe make my family happier or me happier, enjoy more fun times, like something funny or something like that. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not coming up with anything. And then I was like, well, maybe, or a big part was just like, is there a way I can like save time for myself or add more time? Because I always feel like there's just not enough time in the day for all of the hobbies and things that I like to do, as well as all the other life things I want to do. And I have so many thoughts and ideas of things that I would like to get done in my life that more time would be great. But I decided on just like some time savers, like maybe a spell to do the dishes or the laundry, because that's just constant things that you have to do like every day, and they just pile up and then they take time, and it's just, they're so annoying. So maybe some like things to get rid of some of those chores. That would be great. So our next prompt says, classical mythology's construction of an evil witch brewing concoctions to cause harm influenced actual practices of magic. Name a favorite folk or mythical tale that features magic or supernatural events. So for this one, I actually just finished reading The Bear and the Nightingale, and I feel like it really kind of fits into this prompt really well. It is following some like Russian folklore, and we have the like certain air of magic to it. It's not like super in your face, but one of the girls you're following from when she was born, and she just seems to be a little bit different and have some kind of magical abilities to her, and she can see these kind of household spirits, and not all of them are household spirits, I shouldn't say that, but she has one specifically in her household that kind of helps to keep the fire going and help do some of the sewing around the house. And then there's also like a wood spirit and then a water spirit, and there's just all these different beings within the world that she can actually see and converse and talk to. And she kind of gets pulled into this world because her stepmom also sees them and thinks that they are demons, and she doesn't believe in leaving them any offerings, and just kind of wants all of that negated, and it freaks her out. And so it's just kind of a battle of wills in a lot of ways, but it ends up being much bigger because there's a bigger bad behind this as well. And it's just, oh my gosh, the story is so beautifully written in this like fairy tale folklore kind of way that just slowly unfolds, and you're just building and building on this story. And oh my gosh, like you can just feel the freezingness of this place. Like it's so cold outside, but then like also they always are like huddled around the oven in the house, and you can just feel the warmth coming off of that too. And it's just like, I don't know, you can feel like you are there in this book, but definitely has some really fun magical elements, and it's kind of rooted in like a mythical folklore type way. Number 5, I'm going to be a little boring with my answer on this one, but it says, if you were a witch, which animal would be your familiar? I think I would do a cat. I have a dog and I have 3 cats. And I adore my cats, and I feel like cats would just make a good familiar. They could kind of tag along with you to do things. They could not. They don't really care either way. They can kind of take care of themselves in a lot of ways, so you're not really like needing to do a ton. I feel like dogs just require a little bit more attention and training. Not that that's necessarily bad. I just feel like in a familiar, I just want to have some of that flexibility, I guess. And just something about cats and magic and witches just fits together in my brain for some reason. So I would say cat. So the next one is, witches, magic, or curses used to be blamed for bad luck or bad behavior that happened in a town or village. Seen that quite a bit. Can you name a book with a character that doesn't take responsibility for their own actions? So for this one, I chose a book that there's a lot of characters that don't take responsibility for their actions, and kind of on purpose because that's kind of how the story is. But he started it by Samantha Downing. Everybody in the story just is messed up. They have so many things, and they just don't, they don't take responsibility for any of it. They just think that they're way better than the rest of them, or they just don't care that they're that bad. So yeah. Definitely some not great characters in this one. And this one is basically about these siblings, and their grandpa passes away, and he was well off. And he says, if you guys want to get my money and split it, you have to recreate our road trip across the US that we took when you were kids. So they all have to take one car together and their spouses are kind of along for the ride, and they go across the US, and you are finding out more about what happened on the last road trip versus this one, and like you are finding out a lot of their secrets and just how awful of people they are, to be quite honest, along the way. But yeah, anyways, it's a fun one. I actually really enjoyed that one, and I want to read more by Samantha Downing. I'm planning on reading her next book that just came out, For Your Own Good, this month, and I'm really excited for that one. So number 7 is, which fictional witch do you wish you could befriend so you could defend them if they were put on trial? I had kind of a hard time like really nailing one down, so this kind of works, but like she's not necessarily called a witch in the story. But I put Bree from Legendborn. She does have some magical abilities, so she could technically be defined as a witch, and I think she'd just be really cool to get to know. She seems like a very strong person, and she's dealing with a lot. She started at a new school. She's dealing with losing her mom and that grief, but then also finding out that she has these abilities and trying to figure out how that fits into her life. So I think that she would be really good to get to know and defend if need be in a trial. This book is following Bree, and basically she gets into an early college program. She moves onto the campus with her best friend, and the first night she sees these people like summoning, or not summoning, but like dispelling these demon creatures, and they like wipe everybody's memory that was around, but like for whatever reason it doesn't stick with her, and that's very unusual. So they kind of like start bringing her in, and she starts doing these trials to become one of the Legendborn. And the Legendborn are all from descendants of King Arthur's table, and they're all kind of related into that, but people can kind of join into this secret society and become a part of it and fight against this evil that's building in the world and try and keep it at bay. And you find out a little bit more about how Bree is able to fend off their ability to erase people's memories and different stuff like that, and find out more about the secret society and way back when there was King Arthur around. It's a very interesting, intriguing story. I flew through this book so fast, and I really, really loved it. It's one of my favorites of the year. And last but not least, what is your favorite magical world? And I honestly couldn't think of a magical world that I love more than the world of Harry Potter, the Wizarding World with Hogwarts and Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley and all of that. Like, just adore it. I have read these books over and over since I was a kid. I used to look out for the releases and pre-order them, and it's just, there's so much magic in that for me because it's so closely held to my childhood that I just couldn't think of anything else that comes to mind that I'm just like that passionately connected to. So that's my answer for the last one there. So if you guys haven't done this video, I would absolutely love to see it. It's a really great time of year to do this tag. So I don't know, Kelsey, if you haven't done this over at Bookishly Nerdy, or Alita in the books, maybe Rye, whoever feels like they want to do this, you're tagged. Check it out. I would love to see the answers to your questions on these. So that's going to be it for today. If you guys made it this far, you know, say hey down below. Maybe put like a little fortune-telling globe doohickey or a witch's hat or something witchy down below. And we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.